Hey there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittney Bundles, and today's video is going to be on active listening skills. And I wanted to create this video because a lot of people constantly talk about sales. I mentioned this in a lot of my videos. How can I get more sales? How can I gain more customers? And I think one thing that we don't really talk about a lot is how to, number one, get those customers, and how to engage with the people that we are wanting to actually buy from us. A lot of people are having the opportunity to advance conversations and secure sales, but there are a lot of communication skills that are not there in the conversation that are causing some of the opportunities to be missed. There are some people that contact me, and during mentoring we do different things. So there are some people that are working on abandoned carts. There are some people that are wanting to boost their confidence as an entrepreneur. There are some people that are wanting to increase their sales. I think all of us are wanting to increase our sales, but everyone has a different focal point that they're focused on at this particular time in their business. And so one thing that I've been noticing that's been very common is, well, how do I actually secure the sales? Like, how do I get people that I'm working with and interacting with to want to buy from me? And one of the things that I have observed that a lot of entrepreneurs are not doing is active listening. There are a lot of cues that our customers, potential customers, and clients can give us that a lot of times kind of go over our head, or we just choose not to really pay attention to. Maybe we think that the information they're explaining isn't really, serious. We may think that it's a minute detail in the grand scheme of things. We may already assume that we know why they're contacting us, and we may want to be, as efficient as we can by just letting them know what we recommend before we're actually hearing them out completely. So doing all of that, if we're not actively listening, there are going to be some opportunities that we miss. There's no way around that. And so what I've learned to do is I've learned to be a better communicator through my entrepreneurial role. So even if I'm not communicating with someone via phone or face-to-face, email, text messaging, and DMs are still a form of communication. And there's still a way that we can actively engage. I don't want to say listen because we're technically not listening, but we can actively engage and understand what they're asking so that we can make a more informed recommendation and have a better chance of securing a sale. So before I get into this video, I do want to remind you all that I am doing mentoring classes. If you are interested in working with me one-on-one, having me as your mentor, be sure to go to my website, which is badchickhair.com. And I want to rephrase that. It's not really a mentoring class where I'm having multiple people in the session. It is an opportunity for us to work one-on-one, but it's a mentoring service where we can do that. We can take a look at what your business goals are, break them down, and come up with different recommended action steps for the duration of our mentoring session, so that we can move you closer to your goal. And then also, if you have questions during our mentoring session, or if you have something else that you'd like to throw out or have me take a look at for you, you get that opportunity to do that as well. So this is different than a consultation, where a consultation is more so a one time interaction. I send over a template, you let me know what you are wanting to go over, and I send back recommended action steps. Mentoring is going to be ongoing to a extent. It's more than just a one-time interaction. So if you are interested, be sure to take a look down below. I will have the links right below this video and read more about that. I'm going to be looking this way to go over my notes. So again, today it's going to be about active listening equals increased sales. And before we get into the video, be sure to give the video a big thumbs up. Please make sure that you are subscribed, and let's get right into it. So the first thing that I want to point out is, how many sales have we lost due to lack of not asking enough clarifying questions, to fully understand, and not listening well enough to our potential customers and clients. So just that right there, how many sales have we lost due to not asking clarifying questions? A lot of times when I am speaking with new entrepreneurs, one of the concerns that I hear very frequently is that I'm nervous. I'm nervous to ask questions. I'm nervous to engage. I'm nervous to do this, and I'm nervous to do that. Nothing wrong with that. To be honest, I think it's quite normal to be nervous. The majority of people that I have met, including myself, that has started a business has been has been nervous at one point or the other. I think that's completely normal. Whenever you push yourself outside of your comfort zone, you may feel some nervousness. And I went over that in my last podcast. So if you're interested in hearing more about that and how to kind of overcome some of those, nervous thoughts and even some of those defeated thoughts, be sure to tune into my podcast. I will try to have that link down below as well. But I want us to think about that for a moment. How many opportunities have we overlooked by not asking enough questions? And to be honest, one is too much. So if you can think back, and if you have an opportunity that comes to the top of your head, we can stop counting right there, because one is too many. We want to make sure that we're taking advantage of every opportunity that we possibly can. So if someone reaches out to me in my DM, just for an example, and they're like, hey, I'm interested in purchasing a few bundles and a closure. Let me know when you can have it mailed to me. Just kind of like a generic question. And so I'm not asking enough questions. So, one of the questions that stand out to me before I even ask or before I even engage is I'm wanting to know, because they said, let me know when you can have it mailed to me. So how soon are they expecting the hair to be sent to them? Also, they said a few bundles. So how many bundles are they interested in? It's going to let me know which bundle deals I should look into. So my bundle deals with 3 bundles or with 4. It's also going to let me know if I ask additional questions as far as what style they're interested in, if I would recommend a frontal or a closure. So getting all of the information up front is going to help me create a tailored recommendation and have more of a chance at securing that sale. If you think about it, the person that responds back to that person that was in the DM and just says, hey, if you want a few bundles and if you want to, have it shipped as soon as possible, go to my website and order, versus someone, the business owner that responds back and asks those additional questions and can really give that potential customer a tailored recommendation. More than likely, that business owner is going to be the one that secures the sales. So there is a method to being as efficient as we can with our sales process. It's not by chance that entrepreneurs are gaining more customers and clients, more newsletter subscribers, more followers, more engagements, more subscribers. It's not by chance. It's not by luck a lot of times. Most times, it actually has to do with a strategy. And with a strategy, we want to make sure that we're being our best in every interaction. Now, with this method, like I say in a lot of videos, you don't have to overdo it with questions. I'm not insinuating that you should go in with like 10 questions or 6 questions every time you're wanting to ask or engage with a potential customer or client or get a better understanding. There's a way to do it. And there's not a blanket template that's going to work exactly the same for every interaction. As much as I would love to just provide a blanket template and say it's going to work exactly the same with every customer or client, it's just not. So even if you have a template, there are still going to be some times where you need to tweak it. You need to customize the template to the scenario, the customer, and also you. You have to tailor it to that circumstance. So that's one thing that I wanted to point out. The second thing is, the next sales opportunity that you have, challenge yourself to ask at least 2 open-ended questions for better understanding. And also understanding your customer's desires. So like I just kind of went over the open-ended questions, and I'll go over in another video explaining more so how you can position open-ended questions, because a lot of times people are asking questions, but the questions are closed-ended. And so if you ask a customer or, a client, do you want these bundles? It's either a yes or a no. You know what I mean? I mean, sometimes it could be, well, they may explain, but a lot of times it's like a yes or a no. But if you ask them, tell me a little bit about the style that you're interested in, they're more likely to open up and give you more information that's going to help you provide a tailored recommendation. But I do challenge all of you to ask at least 2 open-ended questions in your next interaction, whether it's via DM, via email, in person, or over the phone. This is going to get you more comfortable with speaking with different people, interacting with different people, and building those relationships. I've been talking about the importance of building relationships for so long at this point, and it really is very important. You don't necessarily have to, this is something else I wanted to throw out there. You don't necessarily have to overwork yourself. I think a lot of people think that if you're asking open-ended questions, you're going to open like a can of worms, or you're going to do too much where it is taking too much for that interaction to potentially close the sale. But if you think about it as genuinely helping whoever you're working with, and being a resource and a solution to whatever they're going through, it's going to help position your mind frame and your mindset in a way that's going to allow you to want to ask additional questions so that you can efficiently help. And if they do have any questions or concerns, or if they do want to purchase at a later date, even if they don't purchase right now, they're more apt to do so because they feel like they have a connection with you. And you have shown them that you care more so about making sure they get exactly what they want and meeting their desires versus just selling something. Customers know the difference. I've spoke about this in many videos as well. The third point that I wanted to point out is mirror their interest or concern back to reassure that you fully understand their concern. So this is something else that I think a lot of us can work on. And I'm saying us, I'm including myself in it. I'm not perfect. I try to make sure that I am being my best, becoming my best every day. So sometimes we understand what our customers want exactly, and they don't know that we fully understand. They may say something and they may in their mind think, okay, well, I've explained this to 6 other vendors. I've explained this to 6 other business owners and they're not getting it. So I don't think she gets it either. Or I don't think he gets it either, even though you may understand it. So mirroring back in your own words, whether it's via email, text, or over the phone, is also going to help customers feel secure and feel like they have someone that's an expert that cares about what their concern is. So for an example, if a customer writes you, let's just say via DM, and they're like, hey, I want to make sure that I'm completely under the right assumption that you can send out hair and have it delivered to me by the next day. When you say the next day, or when your website lists the next day, I just want to confirm that it is going to be delivered on Monday, or is the next day going to be Tuesday? And you may say, okay, well, I completely understand what they're saying, but they may not know. So mirroring back, okay, just to make sure I understand correctly. Okay, thank you so much for contacting blank hair extensions. My name is such and such. You do want to introduce yourself just as a form of being professional, and so that they'll have a point of contact as well and reference. If I understand correctly, you're wanting to know if you order hair today with our overnight option, if you will have the hair delivered by Monday or Tuesday. Am I correct? And a lot of times they'll say, oh my gosh, yes, yes, yes. And then you can respond back, okay, well, if you order right now, or if you order today before 3 p.m. Eastern time, I can assure you that the hair will be delivered by Tuesday, and also give the date. So something like that, but it just mirrors back in a way that lets them know that you understood exactly what they're asking, and that there's no gap for any miscommunication or understanding, and that you're all on the same page. That is definitely going to help with tightening your communication and also the relationships that you have with your potential customers and clients. Now, the last tip that I want to point out is listen to understand, not to immediately respond. This is something that I had to learn the order that I got, that, you know, the best way that you can effectively listen is not to listen to immediately say something back. You know, I remember when I was younger and I love debating. You know, I was in the debate class or debate team, in my school, in high school. And I just really, really enjoyed debating. You know, I just did. And so I would always listen to respond. I would listen to see what someone was going to say, and I would have a comeback, like instantly almost. And I would do that, you know, with my brothers. Sometimes I would do that with my friends. You know, I got in trouble for it, but sometimes I would do it with my mom and my dad. And believe me, I got in trouble for it. But, you know, I had a bad habit of listening to just respond. Until one day I was like, you know, I don't know what clicked in me, but it just wasn't that serious anymore for me to always have to say something back. It just wasn't that serious for me anymore. And I started learning that the more that I listened, not ready to respond, just completely listened with an open mind, the more I was able to understand where someone was coming from. Now, that doesn't mean that I agreed exactly what they were saying, or with what they were saying, or what, you know, whatever we were going through. I didn't necessarily agree with it always, but I understood better. You know, sometimes you can understand where someone is coming from and not agree. I can understand why someone did something and not agree with it. You know what I mean? Like, I can understand why they would be put in that position, or I can, you know what I mean? So sometimes you learn to be more, you know, less judgmental and just more patient with people. And so when you are doing that, when you're showing people that you're not really quick to respond, you're not cutting anyone off, you're listening, you're allowing someone to express how they feel on their time, it is going to help not only show that you have respect for them and help build that relationship, but it's also going to help you fully understand where it is they're coming from. Again, I'm not saying or promising that you're going to agree with whatever your customers or clients say all the time. Like, I can't say that, or I would be lying. That's not true. You're not going to 100% agree with what anyone does ever, you know, for the most part. But you can still show respect by listening and trying to understand where they're coming from. And even if you don't fully agree, trying to put yourself in their shoes is going to allow you to make a better recommendation based on where they're coming from. So when we're looking at becoming better entrepreneurs, when we're looking at securing more sales, we have to look at the overall picture. We can't just look at, or we shouldn't just look at one area. We shouldn't just look at, okay, well, what can I do to get this sale the fastest? We should actually look at how can we be the most genuine? How can we connect the most thoroughly and effectively with our customers and clients? And how can we set ourselves up for repeat business and it's actually be a solution and a resource to our potential customers and clients? That mindset is going to help us close more sales than, in my experience, just having the one-track mind of I have to close a sale, because a lot of times people can read what's on your mind through how you speak and how you interact with them. So I really hope that this video helped. If you have any additional questions, feel free to leave them down below. I do want to thank you for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.